Ah, the Devil Axe. Probably to this day one of the most infamous weapons in the Fire Emblem series. It has made a grand total of 12 appearances in the 15 games to date, and while I think it's a weapon that most players instantly throw into the convoy when acquiring one, I've always had a strange fascination with it. The Devil Axe is a weapon that offers great power, but at a steep costs. While it inflicts a tremendous amount of damage, it has a small chance to damage its wielder, which in Fire Emblem usually means death. It adds another element of risk into an already RNG-based game known for being extremely punishing and risky. Yet, the Devil Axe hasn't always been a bad weapon. It can be a great tool in certain games to players who know how to utilize it. Let's take a trip through the Fire Emblem franchise and try to figure out why this specific weapon has appeared so many times. Let's take a look at the history of the Devil Axe. The Devil Axe made its first appearance in Fire Emblem 1, Dark Dragon and the Sword of Light, where you only obtained a single one throughout the entire game. Visiting a village in Chapter 3, a kooky old man proceeded to hand Marth a nice axe as a gift, only to tell him that it's best not to use it. Needless to say, it was a pretty shitty gift. Couldn't even be sold to vendors back then, so it was pretty much useless. Jagan, torch. Now, as far as its usefulness was concerned, the Devil Axe was actually the most damaging weapon in the game at 20 mites, only rivaled by the mighty Gradius and Aurotome. It was also pretty accurate at 70% hit, which was a lot for axes back then, though it did weigh a ton at 14 weight, and it only had 9 uses before it broke. The backfire rate of this game was 21% minus a character's luck, and seeing as luck was capped at 20, that means there would always be that small 1% chance of a backfire. The Devil Axe would not make an appearance again until Fire Emblem 3, Mystery of the Emblem, which was a remake of the first game. The axe was obtained in the same way and was largely unchanged, except for a tiny few details. Its weight was increased from 14 to 20, now making it completely impossible to double with it. But it was in turn given a value of 900 gold, meaning you could sell it to a vendor. Mystery of the Emblem did feature a second story, but since there were literally not a single playable axe user there, the only time the Devil Axe appeared was on certain enemy bandits in the mid to late game. The next time the Devil Axe would make an appearance was in Fire Emblem 5, Tracia 776. While it could be obtained in numerous chests as well as be taken from captured enemies, you would mostly see it on enemy berserkers in the late game. It was arguably at its worst stat-wise in this game, with only 50% hit, but it did get a significant increase in its durability up to 20, with the massive weight and backfire rate at 21% minus luck remaining the same. Its value did increase, however, from 900 to 1200. In Fire Emblem 6, Binding Blade, the only solitary Devil Axe the player could obtain was from the playable Brigand Gonzalez, who came equipped with it. In this game, the Devil Axe underwent some rather interesting changes. Its might and weight were slightly lowered from 20 to 18, but accuracy also slightly increased from 50 to 55%. Its value also went slightly down from 1200 to 900. Binding Blade also changed the formula of the backfire rate. It was still 21%, but this time it was reduced by the wielder's total level, rather than luck, meaning more experienced characters could wield the axe more safely. One game later, in Fire Emblem 7, Blazing Sword, the Devil Axe would forever undergo a special change that would actually give it some value. While its stats remained identical aside from a 100 reduction in total gold worth, the Devil Axe now gave the player 8 weapon experience when used, making it amazing for training a character's axe rank. Since weapon experience was also doubled whenever a unit landed a killing blow, this meant that the Devil Axe could give you 16 weapon experience from a single hit. This turned the Devil Axe from sort of a joke weapon into an actual useful tool for leveling up the axe rank of your units. However, Blazing Sword's Devil Axe was its most dangerous incarnation yet, having a 31% minus luck backfire rate. You could only obtain a single one from a village in the Pirate Gaiden chapter. In Fire Emblem 8, The Sacred Stones, the Devil Axe was almost completely unchanged from its previous incarnation. You could again only obtain a single one from the main story, dropping from a Berserker in Chapter 15, although you could buy them in the post-game campaign, and there were also a very slight chance of it being a random drop from an enemy Cyclops or Tarvos. Its stats and backfire rate remained identical, the only difference was a slight increase in value of 80 gold. Yeah, I don't really know the justification for this one either. The Devil Axe remained an incredibly useful tool for leveling up weapon experience, especially now with the Tower of Valny being available to the player. In Fire Emblem 9, Path of Radiance, the Devil Axe made no appearance in the game. However, it was still included in the files, meaning that if certain hacking tools were utilized, a player could gain access to it. It was clearly meant to be used at some point, seeing as it had both a portrait and a description. If animations were turned off, it worked just fine. However, if animations were turned on, it would generate a funny glitch upon attacking an enemy where the game froze, and the character wielding the Devil Axe would be put in a very strange pose. As far as the stats goes, it was identical to the previous games, with only a minuscule difference in its total worth. The Devil Axe would once again make its return 2 games later, this time in the remake of the first and third Fire Emblem games, Fire Emblem 11 Shadow Dragon. While it no longer served as a tool for gaining weapon experience, its stats were drastically increased, with its weight reduced to 8 and its hit rate increased up to 100%, the most accurate of any axe in any Fire Emblem game up until this point. A second Devil Axe was also now obtainable if you unlocked the guide in Chapter 20X, where a brand new playable character, Ymir, came equipped with one. Similar to its previous Arcanian installments, the Devil Axe in Shadow Dragon could not be sold to shops. In the Japan-exclusive Fire Emblem 12 New Mystery of the Emblem, which was a remake of the second book of Fire Emblem 3, which originally featured no playable axe users, there were now plenty of characters capable of doing so, and a grand total of 3 Devil Axes that could be obtained. Its stats remained identical, but the removal of weapon weight meant that it was much more feasible to land double attacks with it, though this mostly was a big detriment to the player, as doubling with the Devil Axe incurred extra risk of a backfire and made it much harder to control. The Devil Axe would not show up again until 3 games later, with Fire Emblem 15 Shadows of Valentia. It was exclusively an enemy-only type weapon since Echoes featured no playable axe users. However, you could find a single obtainable Devil Axe in Greith's Citadel. The only value it had was being traded into the blacksmith for 50 silver coins. However, there was a small side quest in the mountain village featuring a villager looking for a new axe to chop wood with. Ideally, you were supposed to give him a regular axe to complete the quest, but if you wanted to be an evil piece of garbage, you could always decide to give him the Devil Axe instead. You heartless bastard. So, that was all the incarnations of the Devil Axe. However, other devil weapons have made their appearance sometimes in various games. The Devil Sword, which was basically the Devil Axe, but better in most cases, appeared in Fire Emblem 1, 3, 11, and 12. Fire Emblem Gaiden and Echoes also had the Shadow Sword, which was pretty much the same thing, although it had some differences to it, like for example in Gaiden, Dread Fighters could use it without the backfire rate. Tearing Saga, while not officially a Fire Emblem game, also featured the Devil's Spear, which had some of the weirdest stats ever. 73 uses, 13 might, 62% hit, and 12 weight. I don't even know. I think Kaga was on acid when he designed this game. Funnily enough, there was even an enemy-only weapon called the Devil Claw in the same game, but it did not have a backfire chance. I think it was mostly just given that name to sound scary. Also, lastly, Fire Emblem Fates had 3 weapons, the Ganglari, the Berserker's Axe, and the Sacrificial Knife, which were considered in many cases to be the spiritual successor to the Devil weapons. They all featured very high stats, but instead of a backfire chance, they drained 20% to 30% of the wielder's health after battle, though a character could not die in this way, similar to most other hit point drain mechanics of Fates. Despite all these would-be pretenders, however, I still think there's only one weapon that reigns supreme, and that is the mighty Devil Axe, often imitated, never duplicated. So, that's it! A look into the most dangerous and, dare I say, most hilarious weapon in the franchise. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do you guys want the Devil Axe to make a return in Fire Emblem 16? Let me know about it in the comments section below. Also, do you want to see me review the history of something else in Fire Emblem? Let me know about that in the comments section as well. Remember to like this video, click the retarded bell, and subscribe for more Fire Emblem content. My name has been Mengs, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!